What's going on, guys? Josh here, and in this video we're going to be doing a breakdown of how I would structure an ad account if I was spending about $500 a day, and that equates to about $15,000 per month on Facebook alone. Now, as I go through and build these out for you, I want you to take notes and really kind of focus on, rather than the actual structure itself, because there are really no tricks or hacks here. What I want you guys to focus on rather is the marketing and the creatives that I'm looking to test and the reasons behind this, because this is super crucial, way more crucial than the actual structure itself, right? The structure just really makes it easier for us as media buyers to understand how to analyze and which parts of the funnel to be analyzing. But the creatives and the marketing messages itself really hold the keys to your conversions, right? So if you guys, have an amazing structure but really poor marketing and really poor creatives, then that's really where the first place, that should be the first place that you're looking at to fix if you guys aren't getting conversions. I will also down below leaves timestamps for different parts of the video depending on whether prospecting, remarketing, testing, whatever, right? So make sure you have a look at the timestamps and have a look at where you're at. But I would generally recommend for the first watch through, just watch it all the way, right? Don't jump around, don't do anything, just watch it fully and just understand exactly what I'm doing and my thought process behind it. And then afterwards, when you guys are at this level or when you guys are at certain parts, right, depending on where you are, right, go down to the timestamps and just make sure you regurgitate and re-understand all of those elements. All right, so with all that being said, let's jump straight into the ad account. Okay, so we are now in my ad account and we're going to be building out the prospecting campaign first. All right, so the prospecting campaign, which is pretty much top of funnel, this is where your cold audiences, people who have never heard of your brand or have never heard of your product, are going to start to interact and see your ads. And this is where we can pretty much put our best foot forward and hopefully draw them closer to the golden goal of them converting and actually buying something on our website. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into this. So ad account is completely blank, right? Now go ahead into this button right here, create. We always want to set for conversions, okay? Now, when you are in here, you don't need to really, do anything. Now, as we go ahead, this is the naming convention that I generally like to use. That was taught by my mentor, and it's up to you whether you want to use it, but I'll explain it as I go. So number one, which is the top part of the funnel, which is cold, it indicates cold, right? WC is website conversions, and then we have the geographical location. So this US, right, obviously is for United States, but you can change that if you're marketing to the top big four, right? So like big four, or EU or Australia, wherever, right? So don't get too twisted on that part, don't sweat too much about it. Now, as we continue go through, what I generally like to do is have a look at what kind of audiences are we pushing right here. So right now we would say, one thing, prospecting, right? And then the next thing is the audiences. Now, generally, at this point, post iOS 14.5, broad audiences do better, right? So you can either do broad or in some of my campaigns, I've got like stacked interests, right? But for the purpose of this one, I'll go broad. For one of our ad accounts, we are focusing 100% on females. That is doing really well for us right now. And it's all based on testing, right? None of this is just guessing. It's all based on testing. We tested at small budget and now we're confident to spend a little bit more money. All right, so broad females. Now, when it comes to this part here, the 1-day click, this is the attribution setting that we're using. Now, I know that in Facebook, there are multiple attribution settings. Now, this is something that you guys need to test yourself. For us, based on our testing, 1-day click has been doing great for prospecting, right? Now, we are testing also 7-day click, right? But, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to keep it on 1-day click. Again, like I said, it just needs to be tested to see which ones give you the best results, right? But yeah, generally, as a rule of thumb for our ad accounts, the day click attribution settings, so the 1-day click and the 7-day click, do better than the 1-day click or view. Or 7-day click or view attribution settings, okay? And then for here, I generally like to have like what date was it started. So like, let's say for example, at the time of recording, it's October 4th start, okay? So that's the way that I do my campaign naming convention. I'll go down here, and what we want to do is throw on CBO. The reason why we're doing CBO here is because we've already at this point tested the ad and the audience together. We've gotten some relevant data that we're confident in, so that we're able to give Facebook back more control here, because as active daily users change on a daily basis, I'm gonna give Facebook more control of how to spend the budget to get us the most conversions possible. Right now, when we're doing testing, we don't want to have, we don't want to give this autonomy to Facebook, but when we're doing the prospecting with, all the tested variables in place, I'm happy to do that. All right, so as I said, if we're doing because we're doing prospecting right now, this should be where 50% of the budget should be spent, and right now this is $250 at this point. Okay, now campaign bid, just keep it at highest value or lowest cost. Don't really need to focus anything too much here. Don't worry too much. Now, as we continue through to the ad set level, this is where, again, you just set your audience, right? So for us, it was a broad female, and it was something like 25 to 55-year-old. Okay, like this. So here, what we want to do is I always optimize for the purchase event. Okay, so we're just going ahead and throw in purchase. Don't worry about these things. If you guys have seen my 1-hour video of how to set up the Facebook ad account, so that everything is clean after post iOS 14, I'm going to link for you guys right here. Go ahead and have a look at that video if you have not, but I'm going to assume that you already have. Now, as we continue through, right here, when you go ahead and create new campaigns, I generally like to run it. A lot of people say, run it from 12 a.m. for the previous day, or the post day. But for me, I don't like to run the ad at midnight, because I know that at midnight, there are a lot of people who are just scrolling on their phones, and because Facebook is an impression-based ad buying platform, right? I want to make sure that the people who see my ad are actually going to buy, right? So 12, midnight viewers, generally they're just scrolling, they're not really there to buy. Whereas at the early mornings, right? The start of the next day, this is when people are waking up, they're trying to see, oh yeah, this is something I actually need. And this is, again, personal preference, but this is what I like to do. All right, so for here, right, again, because I set my location into the United States, I'm gonna go United States. All right, and let's open that up. I generally like to do people living in this location, right? And then, okay, custom audiences. This is where it's important. What I want you guys to do is there are certain exclusions that I want, because it's the prospecting, right? 100% cold. I don't want people who have gone onto my website, who have engaged with my brand. I don't want them to see these ads, because they've already seen them at one point, and I would just want to keep everything clear. So in terms of the exclusions, this is what I would like to do. I'll go exclude, right? And then I'll do something like, here we go. Like website viewers, Instagram engages 365 days, Facebook engages 365 days. So what this means is that these ads specifically will not be shown to people who have engaged with my Facebook or Instagram, right, in the last year, as well as people who have jumped onto my page, right? So I just want to make sure that people who see this ad are completely cold. They have never seen me before, all right? So as we go through, genders, this is where we want to change it depending on your test results, right? But here we go. Women. All right, so let's just get rid of that, and that's it. Okay, cool. All right, so as we go down, automatic placements are fine for prospecting, right? If you're doing testing, generally I like to focus on the feeds, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But nonetheless, let's continue through. And attribution settings, one more thing, right? Again, these after clicking or viewing ads, I generally haven't seen good results with these. Again, it's based on your testing, but for me, one day click, I'm gonna set it here. All right, okay, so now we're at the ad level, right? So at this point, you wanna have some sort of like, this is the way I do my naming structure, right? I'll go like winning ad, and then whatever it is, what angle. So let's say, for example, gift for loved ones, right? And then I will also have my ad ID, because I like to have my ad ID in here, right? Now ignore this. This is just a brand new page that I created. You can just use the selected page. Don't need to worry anything about that. All right. So as we go down, right, I want to turn this off, dynamic formats and creatives. You don't want that, right? Because you already know which creatives are going to work. Okay. Now again, here in the prospecting, I don't want carousel unless it's being tested. But for me personally, it just has never worked that well. I like those in my remarketing, for my warm and hot audiences. Okay, so now we're at the ad level, and pretty much since it's our prospecting, right? Our prospecting campaigns are assuming that we've already got winning ads and winning audiences. Okay, so what I want to do here is walk you through how I would do this. All right, so at the ad name, right, obviously you would have your winning ad angle and whatever that angle was that you tested and got success with. Okay, so now as we continue through, I generally like to have, for example, the winning ad angle, right? And then the ad ID. Okay, so this ad ID number here is going to give you, is pretty much the post ID. All right, so as we continue through, at this point, ad setup, you want to use existing posts, right? Because you want to retain the social proof that your ad has already garnered through the testing. All right, so use existing post, right? And then go ahead and here enter post ID, just Command V or Control V, your ad ID in there. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about in terms of post IDs, go back to my $50 a day video. I will link it in the description below, and you'll understand exactly how to get that. All right. But if you guys are at this point of, spending $500 a day, I would expect that you guys should know this. Now, what I want to do is inside of this ad set, I generally like to have 2 to 3 copies of each. Right, the reason for this is because every single day Facebook is going to preferentially spend depending on the daily active users, and which ones Facebook determines is going to be the best ad for the best, for that person, right, to drive that conversion. So I want to give Facebook as many alternatives as possible, and that's exactly why I have 3 ads in the ad set. All right, so once I've got the 3 ads in the ad set, what I want to go ahead and do is go back to the ad set level, okay, and then now duplicate this 2 times, right, or 2 or 3 times, whatever, right? I want to have 3 to 4 different ad sets, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate it twice. All right, so I'm just going to publish this real quick. All right, so we're gonna have 3 ad sets, right, with 3 ads in each. So that's pretty much our prospecting campaign, 100% done. Let's move on to the next element, which is our testing campaigns. Okay, so now let's talk about testing campaigns. So the reason why we do testing is because if you guys have ever run Facebook ads ever and gotten to some level of scale, you guys would understand the notion of ad fatigue, or the idea that, and I've spoken about this previously in the past, is the fact that when people see the same ad multiple times over, your frequency starts to really kind of jump. A lot of people are going to naturally see your ad as like wallpaper, irrelevant. It just kind of, they see it, they're like, oh, that's the ad or the video from Josh. There's no value there, and they're just going to scroll straight past it. All right. So the reason why we want to do, that's the reason why we want to do this creative testing, to keep it fresh, to hit them with different angles, and because we don't know which angle is going to convert which customer, right? So we just want to make sure that we encapsulate and really have a fortified marketing plan on the prospecting front. All right, so what I would like you guys to do is the testing section of this is going to be split into 2 different campaigns. It's going to be done with 1 creative testing, right, which is using previously winning audiences but new creatives, and then number 2, it's going to be audience testing. So we're going to be using our winning creatives and testing new audiences. All right, so I know that's a mouthful, but bear with me. All right, so once you've gotten your prospecting campaign set up here, I'll walk you through it. Let's go ahead and duplicate it like so, and let's just duplicate it twice, right, for the simplicity's sake, and just because I like to be quick and efficient. All right, so let's just go ahead and start naming these out. All right, so 1, website conversion US prospecting, that is no longer the case. This one, let's say for example, creative testing. All right, now in terms of the audience, you don't need to have this set up, right? So creative testing, we want to go winning audiences, right? 1 day click is fine. The start date doesn't really matter as much, okay? But 1 day click is still good here. All right, So save the draft, simple. Okay, now for this other one that we've duplicated, let's go ahead and change it real quick. So again, here we're going to be doing audience testing. All right. So for here, we want to get this out, winning creatives, right? We don't really, one day click is still good for testing purposes, right? And if you wanted to, switch it up just slightly, you can just say something like this: Facebook, IG feeds only. All right. So let's go ahead and copy that, save the draft, and then add that here as well. All right. Done. Okay, so let's start with the creative testing campaign first, right? So this is obviously your winning audiences, right? And I want to make sure, sorry, let me just take a step back, filter by selection. Okay, cool. I want to only show the ad sets that are relevant to this campaign. All right, so we just want to have one ad set, all right? One ad set, which is our winning audience, right? And in here, once we've got this ad set set up, right, we want to go ahead and in here, let's just delete all of these because these are our prospecting ones. Let's just delete it. Delete. Cool. All right. So let's just quickly chat about this one. Because it's our winning audience, right, we still want to have a certain parameters set up, right? So here again, we want to have those exclusions set up where it's Facebook engaged, IG engaged, and website visitors for 365 days and 180 days. We want them excluded. We want 100% cold audiences coming into this campaign only, right? Now, United States, gender, all of those are the same. The only thing that I'll change here is the fact that I like to test only on the Facebook and Instagram feeds. Okay, so let's just get rid of all of this, right? Let's just make it super simple, right? Generally, even when you're running automatic placements, the majority of your conversions will actually just come from your feeds anyway. Some will come from stories and all that, but generally for me, it's always come from feeds. Okay, now once that's done, everything looks good here, right? We can close out of this because now we're going to go ahead and create our ads. All right, so let's go to up here on the top right hand corner like that, hit this button, create, and we're going to create our new ad. Okay, so new ad, so let's go add angle, and let's say for example gifting or Black Friday sale, early Black Friday sale, because Q4 is here, sale. All right, so add ID. Okay, so because we always want to populate and fill in that ad ID after the fact. Okay, so now that we're testing the early Black Friday sale, I want to show you guys something that is so low effort and so efficient in terms of getting a new creative out there. All right, so what I'm basing this off is the UDI, right? So the UDI is going heavy on early Black Friday sales right now. Right? Now, what you guys can do is go ahead and take your winning ad from your prospecting campaigns and immediately, quickly have a new creative to test right now. All right, so the way you do this is like so. Okay, so I'm in Canva right now and I've pretty much uploaded the video that I have set for my prospecting. All right, so now what I want to go ahead and do is go and start to make some edits so that I can make a brand new creative to test right now. All right, so I've got this set up. Now what I want to do is I want to bring in, like, let's say for example a box, right? Let's go ahead and make this black and let's make it so like 50% early Black Friday sale, right? Whatever, right? But have a look at this. So right there, I've created a new creative that we can go ahead and test. So that now I've downloaded the creative and I want to go ahead and add it into my ad account right here. Okay, so we're uploading, right? And I'm just going to put this text in, right? This is your chance to save 50% early Black Friday sale. It's on now. All right. Now you can add some emojis if you want, something like this, right? That, save 50% off. Right? Gotcha. Now, as the URL, obviously you want to put your Shopify URL, but for now, I'm just going to put Buildout.com, right? All right, sweet. So I literally, in the span of like 5 minutes, I've gone ahead and found a brand new creative that we can go ahead and test, right? That is super relevant to the time right now. And it literally takes less than 5 minutes. And I'm not even a graphic guy. Like my background is 100% in numbers, all right? So again, what we want to go ahead and do is we want to take these UTM sources, right? And let's just go ahead and paste that because we want to get some data back. All right, so let's publish this. All right, cool. So our creative testing campaign is completely set. Now, what we want to make sure we do is that for this one, we actually don't want to use CBO. Okay, so we turned it off. And then at the ad set level, generally, I'd like to spend something like 10% of our overall spend. Okay, so just set something like $50 since we're spending $500 a day. All right, so $50 a day is completely fine. Now, what we want to go ahead and do is fulfill and finish up our audience testing. Okay, so this one is going to be a little bit more intricate. Now go into the audience testing campaigns, right? Go into your ad sets. Go ahead and delete these out, right? You don't need these anymore, right? You just want to test one at a time. Up to you. If you have more budget, for sure you can test more, right? But I generally like to just do one at a time. Okay, so here at the campaign level, turn off CBO, right? Because we haven't tested these metrics, right? We haven't tested these variables. So as a result, we want to make sure that we limit the amount of spend that Facebook has and the amount of control that Facebook has. That's why we don't do CBO for these, okay? So let's say, for example, here, I want to test males, right? Females have been doing great, right? Broad females have been doing great. Now, what about males though? That's what I want to test in this ad set right here. Okay, so again, you know, the exclusions, completely relevant, right? Just leave it all the same if you guys have been following. Now go to men, okay? Now men, right? Manual placements, again, just focus on the feed here. Up to you though, but this is generally what I found from my testing, and that's just generally what I'll teach in my private calls as well, all right? So let's go ahead and turn all of those off, like so, and like so, all right? Attribution setting, make sure you go ahead and do 1 day click, again, based on your testing, but for me, I'm going to keep it the same, all right? So now we're at the ad level, right? So at this point, you don't need to have 3 multiplications of your winning ad, okay? So remember, when you're doing audience testing, you want to use your winning ad because that has been proven to convert other audiences in the past. Right, so that's why we want to here make sure that all of this, because we've already duplicated it, it's no problem. We can leave it exactly the same. All right, so we can do this, right? Use existing posts, everything's great, so the social proof will stay. Okay, now the only thing that we want to make sure we do is that the UTM parameter is still there as well. All right, so now that's all set up. Let's just quickly go back to the ad set, and we just want to set, 10% of the budget, daily budget, so $50 again. Boom, like that. And let's just go ahead and hit publish. Okay, so that is exactly how you do your creative testing campaigns, one for your creative testing and one for your audience testing, right? So now at this point, we are spending about $350. So we have another $150 that we want to utilize to go ahead and now set up our remarketing campaigns. All right, so that's what we're gonna move on to. Okay, so now we are at the remarketing section of the video. So we're going to split this up between 2 different sections. One is our warm audiences, and the second one is our hot audiences. All right, so let's start with our warm audiences. The warm audiences are pretty much anyone who has converted or had a look at or engaged with our Facebook page or Instagram page, or actually watched any of our videos from 50% upwards. All right, so I'm not gonna go ahead for the purposes of, trying to keep this video short and sweet. I'm not gonna go ahead and show you guys how to create the custom audiences, but in my previous video, the $50 a day video, I spent some time to show you how to create these custom audiences. All right, so let's go ahead and create our warm audience. So the reason why I like to split these up is because, again, taught by my mentor back years ago, right, is the fact that audiences, right, or customers, they go through different sections of their customer journey, right? So if you're cold, they don't know what your brand is, they don't know what your product is, right? They're not problem aware or brand aware, right? But when it comes to warm, they are somewhat they know who you are, right? They've seen an ad, they've watched a video, they've engaged, they've liked, they've shared, they've done something related to your brand, right? So all they need to do is a slight nudge to go ahead and push them onto the web page, right? But what I will quickly say is that for my warm campaigns, I like to segregate and exclude anyone that has jumped onto the page, right? For the purpose of, making sure the marketing message is completely relevant to them based on where they're at in terms of the customer journey, right? So let me show you what that looks like. So let's go ahead and create, again, conversions again, right? Now, in terms of the campaigns, this is exactly how I would set up my structure. So 2, which is warm, right? But I can, you can chuck this in if you want. You can do warm. Website conversions, US again. Well, it would just be anyone really. So website conversions, right? And we want to do stacked warm audiences. All right. So go ahead and do 1-day click again. And then you can set this up to be something like 10% of the budget, or maybe even 20% of the budget, actually. 20% of the budget. Okay. Now, let me just quickly fix this. Cool. Okay, so here what we want to do is stacked warm audiences, right? We're naming our ad set right now. And what we want to go ahead and do is Facebook, IG engaged, plus video viewers, 50% plus. All right, cool. And then for here, we'll get into that in a second. All right. So for our warm audience, right, let's go down. We want to make sure that CBO is off, right? We don't really need to have that on. Actually, no. So, okay, so now we are at the campaign level and we want to go ahead and just turn on, your CBO, right? I generally like to have CBO here because, again, we're not having multiple variables here, right? We're just trying to get people further down the funnel, right? So what we want to do is, because we only have one ad set, one ad or 2 ads, right? Because the marketing message is going to be more or less the same, I'm okay for Facebook to just show, based on what they think is going to help convert the audience, one of those 2 ads, or one of the ads that I have in there. All right. So at the ad set level, again, here, we're going to set it to purchase. I always like to set it for purchase, like this. So, all right, so purchase. Okay, so this is where the complex elements kind of come into place. All right, so 1, I want to get rid of location. But if you want to just segregate it completely to one location like the United States, we definitely can. So when we get down to the targeting section, the audience section, right, we're going to make sure that we have some sort of exclusions and inclusions. All right, so when it comes to here, what I want to make sure is that I want to see that Facebook and Instagram engages are targeted, right? And then we want to make sure that also video viewers are here. But you can see that in my custom audience list that there are some audiences that are missing that need to be created for the purpose of this. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys really quickly to go ahead and create this. Okay, so the first inclusion that we want to have that apart from our Facebook and Instagram engages is the fact of people who have watched our video, right? So when it comes to warm audiences, I like to keep the audiences for those people who have stayed on the native Facebook platform. All right, so that, we can have reliable, confidence that Facebook will actually deliver these ads because regardless of iOS 14, that people are staying on the app and interacting with our page and our videos and our Instagram profiles as well. All right, so we can see that data, right? It's only when it gets to people jumping off our Facebook, Instagram, on our page or our website, sorry, that's when things get a little bit hairy and a little bit more difficult. So we are back. I'm sure you guys have noticed it is now nighttime. So as I was recording the video, it was around 5 p.m. here in Spain, and yeah, the whole server crashed. With all that being said, let's continue on with the video, okay? So where we left off was creating the custom audience for video viewers, okay? So what I want you to do is go into the audience section, right? So this is the business manager. Go into the audience section. All right, so go create audience, custom audience. Then we go video, yeah. And then this is where we want to choose at least 50% viewed. So this is where I believe that the audience starts to become warm, right? When they're watching like, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, I don't think that that's warm enough, to be honest. They're kind of still on the colder side. You want to hit this choose videos, okay? So choose videos and then just choose your main prospecting video right here, right? Go ahead and do that. And you can just do it for like 180 days, or it's up to you, but generally, I like to have like 180 days. You can shorten it down for 90 if you want, but with iOS 14 and broader audiences working better, 180 days is generally good. Okay, so video views, prospecting ad, 50% viewers, all right, plus 180 days. Oh, sorry, just 180 days. All right, cool. So we'll just create the audience right here. All right, sweet. Now let's go back into our ad account. Okay, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna have a look at the stacked warm audiences, right? And here, what we want to go ahead and do is include this new audience right here. So video view, prospecting ad, 50% viewers, 180 days. So this is the one that we just created. All right, so let's throw that in. Now, what we want to do is we want to create a few exclusions. So you can see the button here, exclude. Now, the good thing is in this ad account, I haven't actually created these exclusions before. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that. So let's jump back into the audience section, right? And let's go to custom audience, website. So obviously there's the pixel here, right? This is an old website. And here we go. So this is what we want to do. So now we've gone ahead and we've done website visitors. All right, so we go and do page view, right? 30 days. Okay, so now you just want to go page view, 30 days, right? You can name it like maybe custom audience in the front, right? Just so you know. Now, once page view is done, go back, right? Create another custom audience, website again, right? Now here, instead of page view, we're going to do view content. Now I know that page view content more or less is the same, right? But again, I just want to be more thorough here. And again, custom audience. This is going to be view content, 30 days. All right, cool. So create audience. All right, go down here again, create another custom audience. Website, next. Let's go to add to cart, right? Now here, again, add to cart, 30 days, sweet. That is done. So yeah, add to cart audience is done now. Again, I know it's a little bit tedious, guys, but it definitely is worth it. All right, so events. Now we want to just go ahead and do initiate checkout, custom audience, initiate checkout, 30 days. Create audience, all right, and then last one, go ahead and go website again, and what we want to do is purchase, all right? So again, custom audience, here you are, purchase, 30 days, like so, and then create that audience. Okay, so based on that, we have literally all of our audiences right here. Okay, so we are in another ad account that is live, currently spending about $100 a day, right? And with this one here, you can see that we've got our exclusions, right? Exclude. And then we've got our add to cart 30 days, initiate checkout 30 days, purchase 30 days, page view 30 days, view content 30 days, and website visitors 30 days. Now this one as well, it also has offline conversions for the last 30 days. Now that one is a little bit more complex, so I will break it down in another video, but I don't think it's necessary for the purpose of this one. All right, so with that being said, all of your warm audiences, right, should all be done now, and now we want to focus on the ad. Okay, so when we go to the ad section, right, so here what we want to do is generally, the creatives that we want to push here are, UGC content, right? Because what we want to show people is the fact that, hey, you've shown interest in this product. Why haven't you gone onto the page? There are plenty of other people all around the world that have jumped onto the page and they love the product, they trusted the product and all these kinds of things. So that's all we want to kind of give. And UGC is the best kind of content for that. Now, if you guys haven't or don't know how to get UGC, you can either film it yourself, right? Or I've done a video and I'm going to link it for you in the top right, the corner right here, and you guys can go ahead and jump on Billow. Billow is a great service that I use personally as well, and there is a discount code for you down below if you want it. Okay, so let's continue on, and here we go. Let's get rid of the DPA. So let's go single image, right? And in terms of the name, you know, you can do UGC1, right? Add ID and then XXX, and then we'll add that in later. All right, so let's get rid of the catalog right here, and then let's go ahead and add a video. Okay, so while this is uploading, I just want to show you guys the type of text that we want to use, right? So generally the primary text, you don't really need to think of it too much, right? It's pretty simple. So what we want to go ahead and do is something like this, right? So let's just add a few stars, like so, and then it's like, oh my gosh, cannot believe I have never heard of this amazing product. What? Can you change it? Then we can just do like Claire B. Right? And then so you start off with the testimonial, right? Because we just want to prove that other people have actually used the product, they love it, etc. And then the lines underneath, you know, you can follow on with your USPs, so unique selling propositions, you know, fast, try yours, or just with a guarantee. Try yours today with 30 days money back with our 30-day gosh, I can't spell today. Okay, so this can be more than enough for a retargeting ad for the warm audience, right? Another thing that people generally like to do is go ahead and just have like multiple different reviews in here, right? Just to kind of push the fact that they're not the only ones. All right, so in terms of headlines, you know, changed the lives of Americans nationwide, right? Something like this. Headline, you don't need to think of it too much, right? You kind of need to understand that it is just pushing people down, further down the funnel, right? So do that, and then here again, what we want to go ahead and do is add our UTM parameter codes. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this like so, and bam. You are done with your warm audience and campaigns, right? So now what we're going to go ahead and do is focus on those people who have actually jumped onto your website. The next element is pretty much our warm audience, our hot audiences, right? So let's go ahead and name those. So the naming convention here is 3, right? Because these are our hot audiences. Okay, so website conversions again, right? And then any stacked hot audiences. They click, and then that's it. Okay, so let's start this. All right, so we want to throw CBO back on, right? And then generally I like to keep it at about 10% because, you know, ever since iOS 14, right, our cold and prospecting campaigns are generally doing the most of the work, right? With iOS 14, because a lot of people are opting out, the audiences are just much smaller. Okay, so in terms of hot, I've tested, you know, spending a lot of money here, but it just hasn't been doing that well. So I like to still have some sort of retargeting for these audiences because we still do get some conversions, but I like to control the budget so Facebook doesn't overspend, right? Because honestly, they can't see it anyway, right? So let's go ahead and continue on. Okay, so stacked, warm, sorry, this is hot audiences now. Okay, anyone that has been on the website, right? Obviously you don't need to write that, I'm just writing it for you guys so you guys understand exactly what I mean by hot audiences. Okay, so here again, conversion event, test, set it to purchase. Let's go ahead and go purchase like this. Obviously these errors won't be there when you do it. Okay, so at this point what we want to go ahead and do is get rid of this, right? Location, right? And then what we want to go ahead and do is something like we just want to target the customers that have jumped onto the website. So you're going to have website views, page views, view contents, add to carts, initiate checkouts, and then you want to exclude your purchases. Okay, so let me show you in a live ad account how this looks. So we've got our add payment information, add to carts, initiate checkouts, page views, view content, website views. All right, so API, let's just add payment information. It's just another custom audience that you can go ahead and add. If you want to add it, that's fine. I've tried it here. It's been working good for us. I just didn't mention it before because if you do add to cart and initiate checkout, you should be capturing these people anyway. All right, so in terms of the exclusions though, like I said, go ahead and do your purchase 30 days. And then if you have offline conversion set up, you can remove and exclude your offline purchases 30 days custom audience as well, right? But in terms of offline conversions, like I said, it's going to be, it's more complex. So I want to create a brand new video for you guys later down the track. But for the purpose of this video, you should be good. All right, so let's go ahead back in here and let's assume that this ad account has all of the exclusions, everything properly done, blah blah blah. Now let's go down. Automatic placements is fine, right? In terms of the attribution settings, remember I generally like to do 1-day click, but again it depends on your testing. Sometimes 7-day click works depending on your product, right? Now I'm just going to keep it 1-day click for now. Let's go ahead and go here, right? And then generally with the hot audiences, right, they've shown a lot of interest in terms of your product and your brand. They've seen your ad, they've engaged with the ad in some way, right? And then they've finally gone onto the website, but for whatever reason, they just have not bought. So generally that's a very hot audience, right? So what we need to do here is we need to, in terms of the creatives, we want to make sure that they tender to the fact of trying to get them to purchase, right? So what could that be? You know, something like an afterpay, you know, buy now, pay later. If you have, you know, Klarna or Affirm or Afterpay, whatever, right? It doesn't really matter. Afterpay, buy now, pay later. The other thing that you could do is give them some sort of discount, right? Now, generally speaking, whenever you have a pop-up on your website to capture email or SMS, right, you want to give them some sort of incentive there, right? So generally that's about 10%. So for your hot audiences, I generally like to just give 10% as well. Just remind them that there's 10%, but add some scarcity in there. Even though, you know, that discount is always around, just add that scarcity because it does just help people to be like, oh, I need to go buy this because they wanted to in the past. All right, now let's go ahead and go add angle, all right? Okay. And then add ID, you want to just go ahead and add that add ID again. Okay, so for this creative, I've just gone ahead and found another creative online, right? But you can see here in terms of the image, it's pretty much the product, right? But then they've just got a big red sale, like minus 15%, right? So obviously it's a hot retargeting ad, right? And it can be as simple as that, guys. I know that these guys specifically have been running this for a long time, so obviously it's working, right? So in terms of this part, what I want you guys to do is something like we saw that you checked this out but didn't follow, something like this. Here's an ethical, how about this? How about an ethical to sweeten the deal? Take 15% off for the next 24, let's do 48 hours. Okay, something like that, right? So this is obviously a hot ad to just try to get those last kind of people, just to push them into the purchases bundle, right? So in terms of, that's the primary text. Now in terms of headline, you don't need to go too crazy. That has, really doesn't have to say much here. Say flash sale, or something like limited sale 15% off, right? Something like that, right? Because they already know your product, the brand. All they need to know right here is that, hey, there's a nice discount waiting for you if you want to go ahead and buy. All right, so again, right here, we want to go ahead and add our UTM parameters, right? Like so, like bam. Okay, cool, and that is it. Okay, so that is it. So we've gone ahead and walked together and created our prospecting campaign, right? Our testing campaigns and also our remarketing in terms of our hot and our warm campaigns. So at the total, at the end of it, you should have 5 different campaigns. And if you guys ever got lost, just go back ahead and look at the timestamps down below, and you just want to make sure you follow the steps one by one. With all that being said, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. I got some real good value out of it. I really just wanted to make sure that this video was pretty raw and just value packed, rather than just doing fancy edits and all that kinds of stuff to try to grab your attention. Okay, so if you guys have gotten some value out of this video, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys have any questions as well, throw them down there. I'm happy to answer anything that you guys have. So if you guys could go ahead and hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, it really does help out the channel more than you guys can understand. And also hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know exactly when I'm dropping another video. Now, just before we go, I just want you guys to go ahead and watch this video if you haven't already. This video is going to help you with your UGC ads, right? And it's really going to, I really want you guys to take advantage of this with Q4 here and now. So with all that being said, guys, hope you guys are having a great day and stay safe wherever you are, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.